What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about Lucid. So the next big catalyst is going to be their Q2 numbers. And with Q2 concluding in the next couple of trading days, that's what people are going to be really talking about. So I want to go over what I feel is realistic, what the market is going to see as a positive versus as a negative. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure you hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, based on some things that we do know, is this. So sales numbers. And so in April 2025, Lucid did have 815 Airs that were sold, 5 Gravities totaling 820. So again, this, just so you're aware, is only in the States, so it does not encumber Europe or in the Middle East. So again, that's something to keep in mind. And as well, this is vehicle sales, not produced, because Lucid's targets are based on production, not sales or deliveries. So again, we have to take all this with a grain of salt, but this is pretty much the best kind of estimate that we do have. So roughly 820 in April, moving over to the most recent data in May. So we do have for Lucid 975 for the Airs, 0 for the trucks, which is obviously the Gravity. So essentially, I think when the market saw this data, it kind of freaked out and caused it to go down a little bit, because that was rather surprising that there was no Gravity sales. But nonetheless, though, this is the type of information that we do have, at least that we're aware of. So getting right to it though, I do have this handy dandy document right here that shows produced, delivered, all from 2021 all the way to the most recent Q1 2025. So Q1 there was 2,212 for produced, 3,109 for delivered. So for the most part, 2024 and so far beginning of 2025, Lucid's been getting rid of a lot of inventory, and most likely this time around as well. For the upcoming Q2 earnings, I feel like delivered will exceed produced because of the massive promos that we have seen. So I think based on everything, Lucid has really failed to ramp up on the Gravity. Mark most recently even brought that up. So I think what Lucid's mentality is going to be is that they wanted to offer these promotions just to show that they are getting rid of their inventory at a faster rate to hopefully offset the negative of them ramping up. So again, something to keep in mind. But no matter what though, as soon as Lucid mentioned the target of 20,000, the market priced that in. So at the end of the day, that's something to keep in mind. So even if, like, let's say Lucid is improving on a year-over-year basis, that's all fine, that's all dandy, but it comes down to, are they going to hit 20,000 or not? So when it comes down to it, they for sure do need to exceed 2,110. If they're negative on a year-over-year basis, just consider that like a instant 15% red day. That's going to be absolutely horrible. So when it comes down to what the market is going to see as a negative, I feel, given that what we do know as far as estimates, anything below 3,000 or even 3,500 is going to be seen as a negative, because let's say if we do 3,500 right here, that'll put us at 5,712. Very tight for Q3 and Q4 for them to hit their 20,000 target. One thing to keep in mind though is Q4, even historically, all the way back to 2022, 2023, they do tend to really kick ass for production in Q4. So it is fair to assume that they can do at least, I'd say, 7,000 to 8,000 for kind of in that quarter. So no matter what though, like I said, it's all going to come down to targets and whether they actually even lower their guidance. I kind of brought this up a couple of videos ago because it's kind of a difficult scenario, and them really mentioning that they're having difficulty ramping up might kind of domino into following quarters. But nonetheless, I do feel roughly 4,000 or above, that is what the market is going to be see as a positive, because if they do 4,000, it is somewhat realistic that they could follow that in Q3, do another 4,000, and then let's say ramp up, do 9,000 or 10,000 in Q4. Like I said, Q4, they tend to really kick ass, take names, and so I think that's kind of a good thing. So that would be able to hit their targets, but it is all based on expectations. The market is instantly going to assume what can they do for Q3, Q4. So Like I said, 4,000 and above will be seen as positive. Roughly 3,500 and below will be seen as a negative, and 35 to 4,000 will be that kind of happy gray area. And so at the end of the day, in my opinion, based on, again, the information that we do know, I think we'll probably be roughly around that 3,300. I know that's a little bit lower, and the market might see that as a negative, but that's just based on the information that we do have, what I feel can be done. Because so far we don't really have June's numbers. We can kind of rely on the flyovers, those videos as a good benchmark. And so they have clearly really stepped up over the last couple weeks, but still, I would estimate maybe around 1,200, maybe 1,500 potentially. So at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to the numbers. So let me know your general thoughts on Lucid. Like I said, I did feel, I think I brought up a couple of videos ago, that they might actually lower their targets from 20,000 to, let's say, 12,000. Because I feel like 12,000 is fairly realistic, because if they do 3,300 for Q2, match that in Q3, that's fairly easy for them to just do simply 4,000 in Q4 for them to hit that target. So I do feel that is going to be happening. So 2023, in case some of you weren't investing in Lucid at that stage, they did lower their guidance twice. So initially it was 10 to 14, they lowered it down to 10, and then down to 10 to 8,500. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's no matter what. I think the moral of the story is you really need to look for the year-over-year improvements, the operational improvements. That's the type of thing that us as long-term investors will value. But in the short term, Wall Street is really going to be paying attention to this type of data. So let me know your general thoughts. Throw your predictions for the produced in Q2. Do you think that it's going to be, let's say, 2,000, 4,000, 8,000? Is there anyone thinking that we're going to be hitting a surprise ballpark, like a home run, and it'll be coming in at, like, let's say 5? Anyone feel like that's going to happen? So if so, drop some comments in the description below. Hopefully everyone's having a good weekend. Let me know your plan with Lucid. And then one final thing, pop over to my Discord. A lot of good Lucid investors all talking about stocks, options, crypto. Discord's completely free, so I might as well pop over there and take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.